Oh, I can bring it. Yeah, it's right out there. I'll bring it. Yeah, okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, give me a thumbs up. All right, thank you. My name is Shelley Lewis, and I'm president of the League of Women Voters of Geauga. Our mission is to empower voters and defend democracy. So we're so happy to have so many people here tonight who are interested in learning about the candidates and issues that will be on their ballot in November. Okay, could you go to the next one, please, Kathy? Thank you. Yes, we're going to open our program with the Pledge of Allegiance. So all
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, it's time for me to thank everyone. First and foremost, we want to make sure that we thank our friends here at Berkshire. This is the first time that we've put on a program, and this is a lovely space, and we just feel really lucky to be able to gather as a community here. So, to all the Berkshire staff who made this possible, the administration, we want to thank you. We also want to thank, for those of you who may have picked up our voter guide this week, free copies available at the Burton Library and at the Geauga County Public Library branches. These are produced by the Chagrin Valley Times and Geauga Times Courier. They do it for free as a service to the community. So we want to acknowledge, what they're providing to all of us. So thank you to the Chagrin Valley Times. I already mentioned the public library. Again, if you need a free copy of this voter guide, it's available at your public libraries. I, of course, have to acknowledge all of our league volunteers. It takes a small army of people to put these events together. So if you see someone with a league shirt or a league badge, please thank them for helping to put this event together. Lastly, I want to especially thank all of our candidates for choosing to participate in this process. It's obviously optional, but none of this works if the voters can't hear from you. So thank you for being here. This is a little awkward. I'm sorry. I'm going to turn it. Rearranging. Okay, our event tonight is being live streamed onto our YouTube channel. It will, I guess it's available immediately, yes. We will have links also on our website that will help you get to our YouTube channel so that you can view this later. I think that's it for that one, Kathy. All right, this part I know about, how this works. So this is a forum. It's not a debate. It's not a rally. Our candidates are here to share their thoughts with you and not with each other. So you won't see candidates going back and forth. They're here to answer questions and talk to you. So that's what you're going to see tonight. We do not make a distinction between incumbents and challengers. We want everyone to start off on this sort of the same level playing field. So our forum is subject to our new revised MP chair policy. It's a local policy for our league that applies to local races only. So if there's a contested race that we're presenting and only one candidate chooses to participate, in the past we were not permitted to present that race. But under our revised policy for local races, we are permitted to present that race. So there's at least one race tonight where I expect there will be one candidate. So I wanted to make you aware of that. Okay, we get a lot of questions about our question process. You'll notice that we don't pass the mic around, we don't have people in the audience asking questions. We go through a question screening process where we compare your submissions against a set criteria that's published. We very much want these events to reflect the concerns of this population. So while our voter guide may be more general in nature, we look to the community to ask the questions that they're interested at this event. So this event should be a reflection of your concerns. We've had a question portal on our website and received several submissions from that. Many of you filled out cards as you came in during the program. You can continue to submit questions, but do not hold them. They have to get through our question screeners. So we have someone who is running. I'm looking for Judith. Judith is waving her hand. She probably greeted all of you as you came in. Judith, can you stand up? I don't think everybody saw you. If you could just wave Judith down if you have a question, and she'll get it up to us. So, all right, thank you, Judith. I'm sorry. Oh, there's a question. Okay. Kathy, you could go up. Okay, so for each race, candidates will be invited up. They'll be presented in alphabetical order in front of you. One at a time, they will come up and give a 3-minute opening remarks. Once everyone has given their remarks, they'll all be seated again, and then they will answer questions that will be presented by our moderator. Candidates will have 1 minute to respond. I want to point out our timer in the front here. Chris has her hand raised. She has a visual timer, countdown timer that will show the candidates, as they're running out of time. So candidates, I ask you to make sure that you're focusing on Chris as you're providing the responses. Okay. After the event, certainly people are welcome to congregate outside here. You can pass out candidate material in that area. No candidate material in this area, please. So we encourage you to do that. And if you need more information, we always encourage you to visit vote411.org. It's the League of Women Voters award-winning website. It has all kinds of information on how to vote and also can connect you to your ballots so you can check out your candidates side by side. So, all right. So one other ask, if you like what we're doing, we are an all-volunteer organization. We rely entirely on the goodwill of our community. If you're interested in financially supporting us, opportunities to do so on your way out. So we really appreciate that. All right, I'm going to turn this over to Robert Lee. Bob is a long-time member of the League of Women Voters, a former vice president on our board, and I'm happy to welcome him tonight as our moderator.
Welcome, everybody. And Shelley said we've been doing this for years, and we've been in some unusual spots. So to come to this auditorium and see this beautiful place, you should be proud of your new high school, and we appreciate the opportunity to be able to use this for this purpose tonight. So today, we're having this regional candidates night. You can see from the schedule, we're covering some county issues. We're also looking at Troy Township issues, Parkman, East Geauga, Montville, Thompson, and also the Berkshire Board of Education. So we have an exciting lineup, and I'd like to proceed to the first one. And our first one is the county levy. And speaking about this county levy is Richard Piranha. So we'd like to have him come forward and talk about the Geauga County tax levy for health programs.
Good evening, everyone. So, my name is Rich Perino, and I would like to thank the League of Women Voters for setting this up. It's great that I think you can hear the candidates and different issues, and I also would like to thank Berkshire School. This is a great facility. So I'm here tonight to talk about the Geauga County Health District Levy. It's issue number 23 on the November 7th ballot. It's a 0.2 mil levy, and it's a cost of about $5 per 100,000 valuation. With that being said, so like a $400,000 house, it would cost you about $20 per year. So it's it's very, very reasonable. This is not a tax increase, it's a 5-year levy renewal, and it brings in about $653,000 a year to the health department. The levy is about 18% of the annual budget for the department. Geauga County Health District is not part of the county budget, and it receives its funding from grants, licensing, and permitting fees along with this levy. The Health District provides a variety of services, including tracking vital health statistics, conducting animal-like investigations to prevent the spread of rabies, and they also perform commercial and household sewage inspections, as well as plumbing, restaurants, schools, and well inspections. A good example of this was just 8 weeks ago or whatever, at the Geauga County Fair, the department was tasked with inspecting all of the food trucks to make sure that they all served us good food. Also the Health District works with the Department of Emergency Services and other state and local agencies to coordinate emergency preparedness and response. An important note to remember is Geauga County ranks consistently as one of the healthiest counties in the state, and it's usually like #1 or #2. With that being said, I urge you to please support the health of Geauga County in this renewal by voting yes on issue 23 on the November 7th ballot. Thank you.
There were no questions for this one. I'll just remind what Shelley has just talked about, to come up this way. The stairs that are up here do not have railings or anything, so we keep everybody on the ramps. And also with the mic, I would suggest to stay fairly close to the mic, and so you can be heard. So the next Geauga County issue is also a renewal of its mental health program, and here to speak about it is Christine Romiak.
Thank you. I absolutely appreciate the opportunity for this evening. I'm Christine Lacomiak, Executive Director of the Geauga County Board of Mental Health and Recovery Services, and I'm asking for your support on issue 22. This is a 0.7 renewable levy, not a new tax, amounting to $19 per $100,000. And this has been supported by Geauga County residents for 34 years. Mental health and recovery services are established under the Ohio Revised Code 340, and what we're charged with is planning, funding, evaluating, and monitoring behavioral health and substance use services. And the way that we're able to do that is by providing funding to a network of agencies in Geauga County, providing services to Geauga County. Some of the services provided include mental health and substance use disorder treatment and prevention for all ages. Clinical services including psychiatry, counseling, case management, inpatient hospitalization, substance use disorder treatment, residential treatment and recovery housing. We have support groups for services for family and friends who are grieving the loss of a loved one because of suicide or overdose. We have trauma response services and debriefing for our community when tragic events happen here, including debriefing for our first responders and frontline staff who selflessly assume the role of lifesaver every single day here. We have CIT training, crisis intervention training. It's a 40-hour week-long training for first responders in Geauga County. We have multiple outpatient clinical services to keep individuals in the community because best treatment options are for when we can treat individuals in their home. We partner with multiple other systems to provide support in foster care, courts, and criminal justice. And the funding supports direct agencies. So some of the agencies include Ravenwood Family Pride, Red Tulip, Lake Geauga Recovery Centers, NAMI. So we need your support to continue the services, the great services that we have here. But most importantly, if you hear anything today, is if you're struggling with mental health or addiction, please reach out for help. Please don't struggle alone. Call our code line or 988, and we can help get you into treatment, because treatment works and people really recover. So issue 22 really provides life-saving services to Geauga County residents, and I hope that you will vote yes on issue 22. Thank you.
We do have a timer, and both candidates have been very diligent, but if you see me come up while they're still talking, I'm the hook. So I'm coming up to say goodbye. So next, I'd like to have the candidates for the Troy Township Trustee come forward. And tonight, there are 3 people running for office, and 1 person is here tonight. And I'd like to invite Anthony Hilton to stand.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I'm not used to crowds, so give me a second here to settle in. My name is Anthony Hilton. Everybody calls me Tony. Back in high school, got tired of writing Anthony, so we just shortened it up a little bit. I graduated from Berkshire in '99, so say this is my hometown. Coming to a new facility is very, very nice to see the community moving forward. And so out of high school, I drove truck for a family business. I've had my Class A CDL since I was 18 years old. Drove truck for 5 years. And then when I was younger, I took a step and stepped out of the family business for a little bit to try something new at a young age. And 20 years later, I have November 1st of 2024, I have 20 years in OPRS, which is a community or working for townships for roads. So I met my wife in 2003. We've been married for 16 years, together 20. We have 3 boys, Adam, Garrett, and Mason. They are 14, 7, and 6. My wife is also a school teacher, so we have a lot going on in the communities. One of the main reasons that I want to run for Troy Trustee is I've lived there my whole life, born and raised. Still live there today. My wife and I bought the home in 2010. So to say Troy is my home would be a very, very good statement. I'm more mechanically inclined, so when I get into these things, I want to understand more and more. So a while back, I started going to meetings, and I got very intrigued with everything. But I also live by one rule, that I do my best not to say anything that I can't take back or that I'm not willing to do. So in my job every day, I am a boss, but I work with my guys every day. Standing next to them, I rake asphalt with them, I shovel asphalt, I run machinery. So I'm not one just to step back and not be willing to get my hands dirty and do my best to get the job done. I was on the Troy Fire Department for 10 years, EMT for 8. So that's another thing that I enjoy doing, but I stepped away from to be with my family just at a young age, and thought, being at home was best for them. But that's some of the main reasons that I want to run is I want to be a part of the future in Troy for my family, my kids, my friends, their kids, and I just want to be a part of something big in Troy. So here I am, putting myself out there, and let's just see what happens. Thank you.
Okay, we have 2 questions. The first question, how do you intend to balance economic development with the rural atmosphere of Troy Township?
That's a a bit of a tough question with certain things in the economy up and down. Troy's on a pretty good pace right now with things. They have they have a great road department program that they're trying to keep a good maintenance with. The fire department is doing pretty good. I believe there's always room for improvement with a lot of things, whether it's how they spend money, how they save money. Working for a township, I'm always looking at a budget. I have a budget to follow. I do not like to get even close to where I don't have carryover. So it's really just trying to stay on a main course and keep things moving forward. You don't want to go down. And that one's hard for me to answer just because there's too many variables. And I don't want to say something and not be able to do it, or say I'm going to do this and then things go downhill. So.
The second question, the last one, is what motivates you to be a trustee?
I believe I went through some of that with my opening. Again, my biggest thing is Troy is my home. I was born in '81. We built a house in '85, and I've been there my whole life. So it is my home, and I want to keep it moving forward in a good, positive direction. That's the goal in life, is to keep moving forward and better yourself, better your family, better your friends, and bring them with you. And that's, I believe I answered some of this in my previous, so I want to keep going with that one. Thank you very much.
The next slide is, we do not have a presenter for this, but this is going to be on the ballot for Troy Township. Tax levy 5 now renewal for streets, roads, and bridges. That was up there, and we will move on to the next one. And tonight we have 3 trustee candidates here for the Parkman Twp Trustee position. And there's 3 people for 1 position. And we're going in alphabetical order tonight. And so first is
evening. My name is Henry Berkshire, and I've been a trustee in Parkman since 2019. I was appointed when John Ferguson left and elected to the unexpired term. In Parkman, we've had the great fortune of receiving ARP money, CARES money, and we've been able to use it for improvements like for any questions? Okay, questions?
next we have Daniel Goff.
Good evening. My name is Dan Goff, and I want to start by thanking the League of Women Voters and Berkshire High School for having us this evening. I've been a Parkman resident for almost 3 years now. I grew up in Geauga County, right here in Burton. I lived here my entire life. I'm a graduate of Berkshire High School, actually with Tony in '99. I have a bachelor's degree from Indiana Wesleyan University. I have a beautiful wife of 13 years. Cheryl, who grew up in Parkman, and 3 children. Isaac is 11, Abigail is 8, and Benny is 6. And they all attend this beautiful facility. I run a commercial recoveries business in Bedford, Ohio. I'm a licensed Ohio High School Athletic Association basketball official, and I'm currently on the board of directors for the Ohio Basketball Officials Association board in Northeast Ohio. That's the rules interpreted. I love Jesus Christ, playing golf, the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Cavs, Indians, and even the Browns. My favorite pastime is being a husband and a father. I love volunteering, coach every sport my kids play, spending time with my wife, and just hanging out in this beautiful country land that we live in Geauga County. I love it out here. If elected, you can expect the same dedication to the position that I give every other area of my life. Once I grab a hold of something, I like to just run with it. So I want to also congratulate Lance and Henry on the job they've done over the last 4 years. It's been fantastic. So hopefully.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks to Berkshire Schools for hosting this, and thank you to the League of Women Voters. My name is Lance Parkman. I grew up in Troy Township. I am also a Berkshire graduate. After graduation, I got a job in the oil field, and at that time, I traveled all over Eastern Ohio installing natural gas pipeline, and I worked there until 2002. I met my wife in 1998, married in 99. We decided in 2001 we wanted to start a family. My first daughter was born in 2002. Work got slow at that time, so I went job searching. We all know how much fun that is. I found another pipeline job, and at that time I traveled from my house. I worked in Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Did a lot more traveling with that company, but I worked there until 2015 when I got my current job as a road worker here in Burton. So I do have 3 kids and got a kid real fast. But I wanted to be here so that I could spend more time with my family. Let's see. I tried for 3 years to get a position here where it would support me and my family. But thankfully, I did find it. I am very happy where I am. And I'm on the road, maintaining the roads right now, patching potholes and mowing the roadsides, plowing snow, and I love it. Starting in 2018, well, I'll let that go. That's good for me, thank you.
Question that was submitted tonight, and to rotate it through since we'll start with Daniel, and then go to Henry and back to Lance. So this is a question for all candidates. How do you see the trustees' role in resolving the environmental issues impacting the community?
Well, I think it's important that the first step is to evaluate the community stance on those issues. We have quite a few, or one specific community member who's got quite an opinion on it. He does a very good job at all of our meetings of making sure we're aware of any environmental issues or questions that he has. I think our current trustees have done a good job of EPA testing and dealing with this entire salt issue that's been going on in Parkman. For those of you who don't know, we had a massive issue with our wells due to salt storage over on Mumford Road, and they've done a great job of getting that out of our community. And I think it's important that we continue to evaluate that situation and make sure that going forward it doesn't become a larger problem.
Thank you. Henry, would you like to repeat the question? Or?
No, environmental is very important to all present trustees and the zoning people. We spent a lot of time talking about it because we had problems with the salt bill, and it did a tremendous amount of damage to the community. And so we're very aware of this, and we we had a meeting the other night about solar and windmills and our stance on that moving forward. So I would say Parkman is very environmentally aware and continue to be so.
Thank you. Lance, could you repeat one more time, sure, please? What do you see the trustee's role in resolving environmental issues impacting you?
We pretty much stay on top of it as much as we can. Henry has done a very fine job with that. We have to talk to the residents and see what their issues are, and we will address it as best as we can.
Thank you. Next, we'll start with Henry. And this is a question also for all trustees. At the end of your term, what do you hope to have accomplished?
Well, we've had a few things we've been working on. The roads are very important. Parkman has or had the most dirt roads of any town in all of Ohio. And it's a tremendous undertaking. It takes a lot of time, labor. We get a lot of complaints on the roads, and it's nothing that it's nobody's fault. It's the weather and roads just deteriorate. So we're in the process of chip sealing roads. It's unbelievably expensive. To pave a road with asphalt would be $1 million a mile. So slowly but surely, hopefully by the time my term's over, that we have the roads chip sealed. We're also working on fine tuning.
That's, yeah, I'm
not done yet.
Put on to Lance. Want to repeat at the end of your term, what do you hope to have accomplished?
I would like to have the majority of my roads chip sealed, and also I would like to start paving if that's ever possible. Really, that's my goal. It takes a lot of time to get there because our American dollar only goes so far anymore.
Thank you.
Well, that's nice to see that no matter who wins, my road will hopefully be paved shortly. Because I think the roads are important. And they are extremely important. Some of them are very, very bad. But, you know, as we've discussed, the pricing, I don't need to continue to harp on that. I'd like to see our community spaces be used a little bit better. I think we have some parks and some areas that could be utilized that are not being utilized right now. It's going to take some work to get them up to par, but you know, there's some areas I'd like to see us utilize as a community more. I'd like to see an updated website, updated information where we can access our spending and our goals and what we do a little bit more user friendly than what's currently in place. Something that can be easily accessed by everyone.
Thank you. That concludes the questions we have for you, and thank you for coming to the city. Montville Township. The first one we presented for this tonight is the Parkman Township tax levy. That's going to be renewal for streets, roads, and bridges. And also, there's another issue, the Geauga Fire District tax levy, replacement for fire and EMS, and we do not have a representative for that also. The next issue we have is Montville Township, and it's also a renewal for street, roads, and bridges, and Mike Johnson, Marks it. once again. So, there's actually another one that's additional money for actually for street roads and bridges that is also going to be about $225,000. Okay, we'll move to the Thompson Twp Trustee candidates, and we do not have any of those candidates that will be in attendance. So we move to the Township Thompson Township Trustee. That's so. Right. Okay. And there's also no representative for Thompson County, and this is renewal for police and EMS, and that will also be on the ballot. In addition for Thompson, there's additional fire EMS levy that is a new levy for 2.5 mills. That will also be on the ballot. So next, we'll move to the Berkshire Board of Education. I'd like to invite the candidates to come forward. This is just like school, we have you sitting out there. So we have 6 candidates running for 3 open positions. And the first one that will be good to speak tonight is Daniel Burke.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to first thank Ms. Lewis and the rest of the League of Women Voters at Geauga for organizing this event and helping voters of our district gain some understanding of who's running on November 2nd ballot. I encourage everyone to log on to their website and review the responses to a questionnaire that was given to us before this event. You might learn something that we might not talk about tonight. My name is Dan Berman. I'm a 36-year-old lifelong Geauga County resident and would be honored to earn your vote to be elected to the Board of Education of Berkshire Local Schools. Some of my earliest memories can be tracked back to walking the halls of Fairview Elementary, followed by meeting the love of my life and now wife in the old Berkshire High School band room, and then later walking across the graduation stage with honors in 2005. Fast forward to today, and you see me standing before you as a newer dad with a beautiful 2-year-old girl named Stella and a handsome 3-month-old little man named Cooper, who are hopefully both sleeping at home, and both of which will be future Badgers just like their mom and dad. I am a proud Berkshire Badger to my core. We are fortunate enough to live in a district that has passionate residents who care deeply about their school. I saw this firsthand as the treasurer of the Berkshire Prime Levy Committee that was formed about 5 years ago. And as that treasurer, I was responsible for managing financial support for the levy, which built the groundbreaking and unique educational campus that we are lucky enough to be gathered in here tonight. That levy passed with an overwhelming majority of over 65%. It was clear that every one of our districts agreed in the direction that the school was to be sent, in both physical location here and in learning pedagogy. 5 years later, that direction has brought us into the exciting place that we are today. As a former public school educator and current leader in a local business, I see the incredible value of the project-based learning format that our school is leading, producing students who have real-world experiences of working together as a team to solve problems using critical thinking. Our teachers are not teaching to a rigid, standardized state test, but rather preparing students for true-to-life scenarios that they will experience in college, in their workplace, trade school, or in the military. I very much want this to continue. I feel that I bring a unique and well-rounded background to the board, experienced and successful in both public education and private business. I have only one reason for running to be on this school board. I want Berkshire to continue to be the innovative, successful educational center that it is, and help in any way that I can to help retain the core values and principles of our community within our school and within those who guide the students in it. I will do everything that I can to make sure that in 18 years or so, my Stella and Cooper, along with all of their friends, can say, I am proud to be a Berkshire Badger. Thank you.
Julie Hunter.
Hello, my name is Julie Hunter, a Clarendon resident and Berkshire graduate. Education is my passion and I thrive on multitasking. I use a very student-driven approach in my classroom and I have 18 years current education experience putting my students first. I am licensed K-12 in integrated technology, 4 to 9 language arts and science, and I have a bachelor's degree in biology. I have taught grades 5 through 8, and currently I'm in my 5th year as a 6th grade science teacher at Biomed Science Academy, an independent public STEM school. I previously taught at Wycliffe Middle School for 13 years as a 6th grade teacher and a specialist teacher, developing and teaching a STEM computer science entrepreneurial class for grades 5 through 8 while creating the curriculum for the K-4 computer program. I work tirelessly to innovate PBL learning in my own classroom. I believe education should be an ever-changing, dynamic, and not a stagnant, check-the-box process. I actively seek out new opportunities for my students consistently throughout my school year. I collaborate with other teachers on all my science units to create new ideas along with taking into consideration my students' ideas. I'm in my 5th year serving on my school's research and development team, bringing new and innovative ideas to the school district. I have worked on committees to develop and align curriculum, evaluate learning management systems, develop our school's learning objectives, and to fully implement mastery-based grading. I'm working with KnowledgeWorks currently to create personalized learning with other educators from Ohio. I'm a STEM designation reviewer and an active participant in the Ohio Rural Educator Program. I am currently working on a problem-based unit for my students involving agriculture. I believe in open and honest communication, having open discussions with students and staff. It should be a give and take relationship. It goes a long way. I'm hoping to support Berkshire's PBL learning and bringing new partnerships and resources. I feel teachers play an integral role in the decisions that the board makes, and they're truly the eyes and the ears of the students and families and know the needs. Staff should also be a very important part of the curriculum discussions in deciding what instructional materials are used with the students. I would actively seek to expand and access involvement with partnerships and community resources. It's important to prepare students for jobs that don't currently exist and that can only be accomplished through hands-on engaging meaningful learning. When students are engaged in meaningful work and they take ownership of their learning, feel a sense of community, a sense of pride for what they're doing, and they value other people's perspectives and ideas. And they learn how to work together. So this all creates a more positive and safe learning environment at the school. As a former Berkshire student, I'm excited to share my expertise and passion with the school district using a very student-first approach. Together, we can create an environment where everyone's voice is heard and valued. Let's work together to make Berkshire a place where every student thrives and learns in a way that suits their unique needs. I wholeheartedly look forward to working to help guide Berkshire, and I appreciate you listening to my vision tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I think that Dan established, as did Dr. Lee, this is not built for us tall people, so I'll do the best I can. I appreciate you coming out on this Wednesday night. I'm sure there's nothing else you would rather do, but I appreciate the interest you're giving in how your vote counts to our society. I first was introduced to the Berkshire community in my first law enforcement job with the Burton Village Police Department. I knew many people in the area, and it was time to move my family somewhere. I knew that Berkshire was a place that I would want to raise my children. All 3 of my children are Berkshire graduates. I worked in law enforcement for over 35 years, and law enforcement is what I know. Safety is very important in our schools today. I've donated my time and efforts to many things, And this is another chance for me to donate my time to the community to make our community a better place. I'm running as a slate with Julie Hunter, who just spoke, and Linda Valentino, who will be speaking a little bit after me. The issues that we want to cover are leadership, education, and safety. Those are all issues we want to improve on to make sure that the Berkshire community and the Berkshire education is where it should be. My 3 children's graduates, 2 of them are physicians, and one is a finance manager at a high-end car dealership. They embody what can happen when you have a good basic education to go on and find your career and do well in life. I've enjoyed this community. This is another opportunity for me to give back to the community. I ask for your vote. My name is Tim Snyder, and I appreciate your time tonight.
Next, Linda Stone.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight, and I'd also like to thank the League of Women Voters for the opportunity to share who we are and what we stand for our voters. I am a lifelong resident of Burton, as many people here are. I actually am a 4th generation Burton person. My husband also is a Burton person. We were high school sweethearts and married shortly after college. We have 2 children, both of them, well, one of them lives in the area, one of them is no longer with us. And we have 3 grandchildren who are now mini Berkshire Badgers. So my interest in being part of this is twofold. One, I'm a Berkshire Badger through and through. I'm passionate about this school and this community, and now I want to make sure my little ones have the best opportunities ever. My education was from Hiram College in education, and Kent State University is where I got my master's in counseling. My entire professional career has been at Berkshire. I was hired right out of Hiram College as a Title I teacher. I taught that for a couple years at Clarendon, and then I became a split 3rd and 4th grade teacher, which was a very fun class. And then a 2nd grade teacher where I had Linda Valentino as one of my students. I was then moved to Burton to do a job sharing responsibility with Donna Bixler. So some of you that are here might have had Donna Bixler for teachers. And then I moved up to 5th and 6th grade with Kara Yoder. I finished my career as a junior high language arts teacher at the high school. So I was actually in 3 of Berkshire's buildings. As a teacher, I was also on strategic planning committees, curriculum development and standards, test book reviews, and 6th grade camp director. I'm also very active in our church as a Sunday school teacher, on council, and a vacation Bible school teacher. I retired from teaching in 2009 and found that I was bored already, so immediately got a job as a retail associate in a store in Chagrin. My community involvement, much like 3 of us up here and maybe other ones too, has been dedicated to Berkshire schools for a long time. Brian, Dan, and I are part of the prime levy that passed the bond issue to secure and find the funds for this beautiful building, and we are so proud and excited to have you here tonight. The news affiliate, as the budget Dan already talked about, passed by 66% of affirmative votes. The marketing committee that worked with us was amazed because they'd never seen that before. But that showed how much our passion was in our community for the school. I have also helped on a number of other levy campaigns and steering committees, Purple Pride Edition, which puts the wrestling room on there, and I was part of a group of parents who began the Berkshire Rep, which lots of you have little ones in. I'm running because for a 2nd term because I feel strongly that we have done amazing things for our kids, education, and their future and for our community. But I also know we still have things we want to do, and that is why I would like your vote once again. Some of our accomplishments are things that you don't, or that you see, like this beautiful building, like the CCP courses that we've added, like the career programs for our middle school programs, like the 5 Cs and our graduation profile. That's it. Oh. I think it's on red. So.
Thanks for coming this evening. It's great to see so many people here who are interested in what's going on in their community and getting educated so that a good vote can be made. My name is Linda Valentino. I have lived in Clarendon all but 10 years of my life. While I was at college and when I first got married, I'm a Berkshire graduate. I attended Berkshire K through 12 with Mrs. Stone as my second grade teacher and Mrs. Edinburgh in the audience. Oh, is she out? And Mrs. Brzezko was my first grade teacher. So I do have definite ties to the community and that I'm excited to serve. I graduated from Valparaiso University in Indiana with a Bachelor of Science degree. I currently work for New York Life Insurance Company, where I'm an analyst. Right now, I'm actually working with our client communications department to head off any issues that we have with our letters that go out to our clients. If we have those issues, I investigate what is causing the issue, how we can solve it, and what we can do to mitigate that from happening in the future. In January, I will begin on a new team that will be building a new administration system for our company. It is a multi-million-dollar project that's gotten a lot of attention throughout the company. It's the most our company has been willing to spend on anything. So it's very exciting that I was chosen to be one of 6 working on that project. I find this experience would give me the experience I would need to serve on the board in order to look at what our issues within the school might be, whether it be physical issues, educational issues, leadership issues, and take a look and see what is it that is our issue, what can we do about it, and how do we solve it and prevent it from happening in the future.
Good evening. How about 5 years ago, we passed bond issue for this, huh? And a lot of us in this room, we're all together, we're all one family, we got that done, and that was one of the proudest moments of my life. But so you're wondering, why are you doing this again, Brian? It's 8 years already, another 12. Well, it's not for the money. It's less than $1 an hour. It's $125 a meeting. It's not for the accolades on Facebook. You know how that goes. That's not going well. It's not because I love being up here campaigning. It's one of my least favorite things to do, but I'm here doing it. So when I was growing up, there's a number of men in this room and women in this room, it's over there too, that gave everything for us. So I'm giving back. And this is for the kids, right? So I'm giving all I can. We're going to give it back to the kids, and we're going to keep doing so. Who am I? I'm a 94 graduate, Berkshire. I went to OSU. Got a master's degree at John Carroll. I'm the volunteer head cross-country coach here, part of the Education Foundation, voted member of the Boosters. My beautiful wife and I have been married for 20 years. We have 2 great kids who are thriving in this school because of the teachers in this room. Lifelong Clarendon residents. So 8 years ago, when I got on board, we weren't very innovative at the top. So at year 6, we went out and found Mr. Stoddard. We found Mr. Stoddard, we brought him in, and he changed the dynamic of this place. And we extended Ms. McCaffrey's term. And we have the best team in the state of Ohio, and you can fight me on it if you'd like. So it's been a busy 6 years, right? So we implemented project-based learning, which the kids are thriving in. We increased College Credit Plus and CCP classes, which are saving our families thousands upon thousands of dollars. So I'm very proud of that. We have a resource officer, and we're working to secure our second one right now. So what are we going to do moving forward? We're going to continue to support our teachers and staff in the PBL development. We're going to engage our community in the benefits-based accountability system that we're developing. We're going to continue to develop leadership opportunities for our school leaders. We're going to add the second safety officer. And we're going to hopefully start an HVAC program, which is close and near and dear to my heart because we need more people in the trades. And we're going to continue to be responsible stewards of our money. So what are you going to get from me? You're going to get somebody that works for the benefit of everybody in this district. I don't have a hidden agenda. I don't have an axe to grind. I'm here working for the kids and working to save your dollars. I'm not going to pretend I'm here to be someone I'm not. You can come up and talk to me whenever you'd like. You're going to get somebody who's willing to get in the arena and get dirty. I'm not going to sit back behind the keyboard and be a keyboard warrior. I'm up here getting dirty. Feel free to see me whenever you'd like. So I hope you are willing to give me another 4 years. I'd love to serve. Thank you for the time.
going to start with Tim first, and then we'll just circle back around. The first question is, what, if any, changes would you promote to address test scores, school ranking, including readiness to college, career, and military for all students?
That's actually a very important question. I'm not sure how many people know this. The graduation readiness rate for the Berkshire schools is 43.9%. I find that shocking. The state rankings on the scores are very low. I find that shocking. I understand that the project-based learning that's here, but I believe we can also teach the basics. What I believe needs to be done and will do is a full curriculum analysis so that we can achieve what needs to be done for project-based learning as well as doing well on the scores. Other schools do well on the state scores. Other schools do well on the graduation readiness rate. There's no reason Berkshire can't do as well or better. Looking at the curriculum, giving the teachers the tools that they need to succeed with our students is important because we want all of our Berkshire graduates to be ready when they graduate from our schools. Low scores cannot be tolerated. We will find the reason for that.
Thank you. Okay, Linda Stone. Linda Stone.
Linda Stone, that's me. Can you hear me? Okay. So Berkshire, before we built the school, met with community members, parents, grandparents, businesses, and they asked the community what they wanted from our students. And what they said was what we are doing right now. We wanted career paths, so kids who didn't want to go to college had opportunities. We wanted college prep courses, so kids who wanted to go to college. Kids who didn't want to go into anything, want to go to military, there are opportunities for that. And so that's why the programs that we are doing right now, we have them, because that's what the community and the businesses and the parents said they wanted. So that meant we weren't focusing on tests all the time, like we hear people, you don't want to teach to the test. So we decided that that's what we're going to do. And right now a group of us are working on another kind of accountability that will go along with the test scores, but it will be something that will be appreciated by our community. And again, what our community wants from our kids and our school as an evaluation of who we are, what we are, and what our kids are learning. And when we said out into the world, thank you.
In the process of a couple different community meetings that I've been involved in, test scores have been brought up. So I do feel like it is something that would at least need to be looked at by the board. If that's the decision, then so be it, by the consensus of the board. However, I do think it is something that the board should look at closer. Why are those scores so low? If it is project-based learning, what can we incorporate into the project-based learning to also attempt to obtain a better test score? I don't think the ranking so much matters, because I think ranking has more to do with how other schools are performing as well, not just where we perform. So I don't think you can look at rank. You just need to look at where we are. Are we where we should be? Are we improving? I think that's probably more important than the score itself, is are we showing improvement? And if we're not, what can we do to mitigate that?
Thank you. Brian?
So Linda Stone answered most of it for us, but we have 95% graduation rate. We have 56% of our kids go to college. 43% of our kids are workforce ready when they leave. These are all from surveys that we do with our graduates once they leave the building. And 1% go to the military. So, we did start a graduate profile. We got the community involved, we got teachers involved, and the focus was to be on getting kids ready, what it takes to succeed in Geauga County and further when they leave our doors. So the community decided that we're not going to have a high focus on the test scores. So we have a record number of students at Auburn. We have a medical assisting program at Kent. We have diesel mechanics school at Auburn. And in our own building over on the fairgrounds, we have middle school career programs. So we're preparing these kids when they leave school. If we want to focus on test scores and take that away, you can game the system. There's schools that game the system. They spend hours of the students' time focusing on trying to get their test scores up. That's not what we want for our kids.
Yeah, in an effort not to sound repetitive, in my opening statement, I said I was a leader in one of the local businesses, and as a leader in that business, when I hire somebody, I don't look at their SAT scores, I don't look at how well they did in the calculus class. I care about how well they learn, have an open mind to learning new things, and how well they work together on a team. That's why I am so passionate about this project-based learning that I see here at this school. Marrying teachers to this rigid test-taking, just one lane highway down a path that really doesn't make an impact in their professional lives, I think is not what we should be focusing on. And I was part of that community talk and part of the levy that was discussed and agreed upon. So again, I'd rather have a student that is a good learner, a good team member, and a successful athlete.
Yes, so as a teacher, obviously, with my own classroom and my own students, I look at all parts of the picture. I feel in order for us to make some decisions, we really would need to analyze what's happening with curriculum, determine the K-12 curriculum maps, the graduate profile, the graduation seals, taking the data from the Ohio Department of Education, kind of evaluating, do these instructional materials support the curriculum and those things? And again, the goals of the community and the graduate profile. I think empowering those teachers, to help use those engaging resources, and again, supplement, if kids are struggling during the PBL process, kind of what their needs are as far as specifics with math and reading, as well as problem solving. I was on the prime committee for curriculum and instruction. That committee was dissolved once the levy passed, and I've gone to curriculum meetings, since, and there were 2 of us there, Mr. Hornick and myself. I want to get more people in the community involved. I think curriculum is a huge piece of the puzzle, and in order to get kids engaged and the staff more engaged, we need to have everybody involved.
Thank you. Our next question, and we will start with Linda Valentino. Question is, how will you address the safety concerns of staff, students, and families?
Addressing the safety concerns of the staff, the students, and families within the school district. I believe it's mandated by law. I believe there is law that requires the school district to evaluate their safety plan at least once every 20 years. I think they have to evaluate it more often, but it has to be filed with the local safety and first responders every 3 years. So just make sure that that is continued and that we're constantly evaluating it, not just when it's required by law. Looking at, do we have the right systems in place? Do we have the right people in place? Are we using the funds the right way in order to make sure that safety is really the first concern? If kids aren't feeling safe at school, they're not going to learn and be engaged.
So there's a gentleman that goes to all the Ohio schools and evaluates the safety of the schools. So we received, he doesn't give grades, but he said we're in the upper echelon of school safety. We have a school resource officer that our board got on a couple years ago. Now we have DJ, Deputy Joe, who's been a great asset to the kids. We have Zero Eyes, which has a detection system that you can see with their news stories on it. You can look that up. I don't want to get into many details, but so we are looking at another school safety resource officer. We're in touch with the Geauga County Sheriff's Office, and we're working through those steps right now.
It's obvious in the past couple of board meetings that I've gone to and in the construction of this building that safety has been a focus of this previous board, as well as the administration and community members. I mean, it's absolutely obvious that everybody wants their kids to be safe here, right? It's not even up to date. So I agree with Linda that this cannot be a dead subject and always needs to be addressed. Year by year, there's something else that we hear about on the news that we need to consider. It has to be a live, ever-changing thing. We're never safe enough, right? But I see steps that this previous board has been taking to improve the safety, and that trend, it has to continue. We can never have our kids be safe enough, but we also don't want to stifle them and make them feel unsafe by having crazy safety measures obvious to them. They need to feel comfortable in this learning environment and not even think about safety.
Thank you.
So I think one of the biggest things to start with is just listening to the community, getting their ideas, getting their feedback, hearing what their concerns are and letting them know that they're valued, those things are taken into consideration. I do think, Tim, Linda Valentino and I have talked about having meetings before meetings as far as, public can come in, having office hours, being available for those discussions, okay? So that people can voice their opinions maybe when they don't feel comfortable in the open forum or when there's, a meeting format that's a little bit more intimidating. So I think each of us being available on different days so that, concerns can be heard. But I also think a valid piece is when the kids are engaged in school, there's not as many safety concerns as far as the interactions among the kids. Also with project-based learning, if they're not on devices and just putting things into a computer and not interacting, they're not learning how to deal with other people. And it really does create a more positive environment. I work in one, and I can't say enough about getting the community involved.
I attended a New Vision Concerned Citizens meeting several months ago, and one of the concerns that was brought up by the group was safety. I've worked in law enforcement for over 35 years. I currently work as a school safety officer in the Charter schools. I did my own safety evaluation of this building, and I am shocked at the way it's built. I find it hard to believe that there were security consultants who actually okayed the way this building is built. I have serious issues with it. I'm also currently working on another system that the school could use, which would be better than the system that they have now. I don't know what to say other than I am not impressed by this building. I'm glad we got a new building. Security-wise, I'm not impressed at all. As far as other security issues, we have to get a resolution to the traffic coming into this facility here. We need more than these two roads. We need another access point. The access and the entrance roads are an important safety issue in addition to the kids who are in the building. I will be dedicated to making this place safer than it is. I appreciate getting your vote.
We do have a multi-level security plan, and some of it is not able to be shared with the public just because you don't share, your things in public. Also, Tony, the former Homeland Security officer, who now works for the OCC and the OFCC as an inspector, was here this summer inspecting. And he said our school was a role model for the schools in Ohio for safety because we have so many layers and it's so current with what it has right now. So again, as everybody else says, safety is ever changing and new things come up and new ideas, but a recommendation was made for a SRO as a good next step. So that's what we're looking into right now.
This next question, we'll start with Julie Hunter. And this is a little takeoff of the safety one, but it is different. What changes, if any, would you recommend related to the mental health and social emotional needs of our students?
Again, I feel like a lot of it is giving them that sense of belonging, creating these meaningful opportunities. It really does help the kids to learn to interact, work together, tolerate other people, interact with others, and be open to new ideas. If they are not as engaged or they are on an independent device, that decreases. So I feel like that's a valid piece. I think taking a look at instruction interacting with the teachers, teachers building that rapport with their students, and if they are doing project-based learning to its truest, they are forming those relationships, they are checking in with them, they are meeting with them on projects. And I know that some of the teachers are doing an amazing job with that, but there are some that are also not. And I feel like giving them the tools, they've had the training. I had heard that they are going to be getting more of the Buck Institute training, which I personally had and changed my teaching style completely. I really feel like that's important to support them and really see what their needs are to help the kids, because the teachers are the first line of defense with the kids. And that's who they interact with, that's who they feel comfortable with. And creating those relationships is, top priority in my opinion.
I will go along with what Julie said, because the student-teacher relationship is essential to success for our kids and also for the teacher being able to monitor the development of that child. All of our children are special, all of them are unique, all of them require different things, and the teacher is the person who has that day-to-day contact with those kids. We need to provide the support services so that the teachers have the training to deal with that. And when a child needs special attention, it is available for that child, because we want a fully developed graduate when they leave Berkshire schools.
This year we made some changes, and both administration, and we added some counselors and a prevention team. That we have some assistance with administration so they can get at more kids and see more kids. We also have in the elementary school health and wellness, which is working with the kids, not just in phys ed, but they're doing wellness things to help develop some of those kind of things. And social emotional education is pretty much part of every school day. So that stuff is being taught and used and applied. Probably every single teacher here is doing got training on it and doing stuff to keep developing our kids so they are social and emotionally comfortable with who they are.
I will be honest, I'm not sure what the current emotional and mental education portion of a Berkshire student stay consists of. But what I do know is that through elementary school, they've learned to be kind, be wise, and be a friend, which is great on the giving end. But there's some kids who don't absorb that all the way, and they bully other children. And I think part of the emotional and mental wellness would be teaching all children, not just the children being bullied, how to deal with it and what steps they can take in order to keep it from happening, and who they can go and talk to. And I think they probably are told over and over again, let an adult know, like a teacher know. But sometimes they need that reiteration. And as everyone else has said, the teacher has that relationship with the child or with them sometimes longer than their family members are. And strengthening those relationships are important as well.
Okay, right.
What was that?
So you guys were so prompt and jumping, I didn't think I had a job anymore.
So the project-based learning is helping build a community within the school, which is getting the students engaged with each other and feeling like they have a place that they belong. We also have developed a relationship with the University Hospital, Ravenwood, and Family Pride. Family Pride was in the school this year doing surveys to the kids. Is there stuff that they need at home? Is there mental health issues that they need to be taken care of? So we also have, which is great news, an increase in the number of kids in band, number of athletes in the building, number of people participating in theater, which is all involvement for the kids and gives them a place of belonging. So we're excited about that.
So I thought I was busy when I was a kid, but kids nowadays, I don't know how they cope with their schedules. It seems like every family is stretched to the max when it comes to trying to spend quality time together. I think that kids aren't really learning how to deal with stress just in general, outside of school. That they are so busy. So I do think that ingraining into the curriculum, learning how to cope with stress or when you don't feel right, and making sure that the teachers are supported in identifying students that are maybe overstressed or are not feeling right. It's very, very important. I don't think a separate counselor or a separate program would reach out to enough kids. I really do think it has to be this core ingrained thing that these kids have to start learning how to deal with all of the stresses they are facing nowadays.
Thank you. Next question, we are going to start with Lynn Stone. It's what changes, if any, would you make to the board's current methods of communicating with the general public?
I know many people don't think we do a good job, but we've done lots of different things. Like we did a town hall last spring that every other school said, what are you doing? But we do have something with this grade and accountability that will definitely include parents and some of the decision making that will come on us. And I must say too that I've worked for 6 superintendents, and John Stoddard is the most reachable and accessible superintendent that I've ever worked for. So his door's always open. We are available. I mean, I don't get as many calls as the ones who have kids in school, but I do get calls from voters and community members, and we are all open to that. Nobody said, don't call me, don't do anything like that. So, and we now have, all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. So stuff's there, newsletters, and we'll probably, the curriculum meetings, which are every month, that's open to all the parents to come to it, or, any community member. It doesn't have to be a parent, it could be a grandparent, it could be a neighbor, it could be someone from the library. So those are all open. So we do have opportunities if people take advantage of them. And I don't know why they're not, sorry. But please take advantage of them if you want.
I think a way that the board can better communicate with the community is to establish maybe regular, aside from board meetings, community meetings. The town hall was great. It was well attended. There was lots to be said. There were lots of questions. There were lots of answers. It was really good. So I applaud your courage in doing that, but we need more of that. There was one. And when asked at the end, there was an overwhelming, yes, let's have another. And here we are almost 6 months later, and there hasn't been another. So I think maybe instituting something like that quarterly, maybe here at the school, and then just having different opportunities out in the different townships within the district. Have a community meeting in Thompson, a community meeting in Montville, a community meeting in Troy, just so it's easier for those residents to attend. Not that it's not easy just to come to your school, but it makes it a little bit easier for them as well.
So we heard you when you said the town hall, so that is definitely on the list of things to do. I'm encouraged by sporting events that we see people at. I'm encouraged by the theater and the band shows. I'm not going to add anything revolutionary to this conversation, but Mr. Stoddard does put out the newsletter, his Facebook posts. We tried the rotating board meetings. They weren't well attended. They were very similar attendance to our current board meetings, but if that's something the community would like to try again, we'd be open to it. And again, we'd love to have everyone involved in the graduate profile when we continue to work on it.
So I'm not on the board, but as an elected board member, of course, my job would be to be the conduit for the community members to establish values and the direction that the community wants us to go with. So I think communication is one of the most important aspects of being a good board member. So I promise that if I were to get elected, I would be very responsive to those who reached out. And I guess that's really all I can say without having past experience.
So I think just having open and honest communication, and what you see is what you get with me. I'm very honest, approachable. If you see me at games, other places, I'm always brainstorming educational ideas. Anyone that's ever hung out with me to any degree of time, that's conversation ends up in something with education. So I think just, sharing ideas with the community, and as Linda Valentino said, having some town hall meetings, we've already talked about doing those things, having some open hours where community members can discuss with us individually, or, if two of us, again, listening to the community and offering these opportunities, and then rotating the meetings, even if it's not well attended. I think that's something that we need to look at, is kind of why people aren't attending meetings in general. Obviously, I feel like there's more people here tonight, so just getting people involved and finding out why they're not attending, and seeing if we can mend some of those relationships and bring, the focus back to the kids and the community involved.
If Linda Valentino, Julie Hunter, and I are elected, we will rotate meetings. If meetings are not well attended here, they can be not well attended in other places, but people will still know that we care. In talking to people from the Ledgemont area, they feel left out, and I get that. Their schools went away and they joined us, but they don't feel like they're a part of it. They are a part of it, they're a part of us. And we need to make sure that they feel welcome. Again, Linda Valentino, Julie Hunter, and myself, we talked about having office hours where people can come and talk to us. And it's not in a football game or whatever time when people can come and talk to us one-on-one. And it's not a newsletter, it's a personal connection that we want to make with these people. The other thing that I've heard from people is that the agenda for the board meeting comes out like 10 minutes before the meeting. I realize that's an exaggeration, Mr. Stockton, don't jump at me. But I think that agenda needs to come out earlier so people know what's going to be discussed, so they know they can come to the meeting and have an impact. Not just coming to sit at a meeting, but actually have an impact. This is not our school, this is your school. We need to make sure that the people of the community feel that way.
Actually asked more questions than any other candidate, but I have to do one closer here that I think is appropriate. Is a question, we'll start with Brian Wadsworth. Have you attended training related to the role of a school board member, or what prepares you to be an asset to the school board?
So I've been doing a couple trainings as to prepare myself for a school board member. What makes me an asset is I am 100% devoted to this community as a lifelong resident. I'm 100% devoted to these kids. Like I said, there's a group of people that we owe to do our best to and leave our own legacy and make this community the best we can. I've been doing this for 8 years. I have relationships in the community. I know the ins and outs of the community. And I'm excited to continue the growth of this building and the kids in the building. I think we've got a great thing going. I was riding a bus home from Madison, the cross-country meet last weekend, and the coaches and I sat in the front of the bus and we were talking about how beautiful it was outside. It's like Norman Rockwell painting, right? So I think we sometimes overlook how good we have it out here. And I think I would like to say that we could bring ourselves all, we can get all back together and start pulling in the same direction. Thank you.
Yeah, so no, I do not have any specific board of education training, but I do feel that my professional life is a very good training tool for working on a panel with others. All day, every day, I work with different companies, different trades, plumbers, electricians, architects, ownership, working on problems together. And we come up with solutions that are best for everybody. And I really think that's the epitome of being a board member. So if elected, I promise whoever's sitting up here to work well with them, and whoever's sitting out there to work well with you, and to do everything that I can to make sure that my kids and all of their friends and contemporaries have as good of an experience here at Berkshire that me and my wife and my family has had in the past. So, Thank you for your vote.
I obviously have not had official board training, but I've been in education for 18 years. With a lot of other partnerships, I work with Portage County Soil and Water. I've partnered with Intel Education and Ohio State Learning Network. I participate in a lot of different organizations, and I would like to bring those resources and things to the school. I have written my own grants. I'm in the process of writing one in collaboration with Ohio State, the extension. So there's a lot of, I've had some other ones in the past, internal grants that I've received and then other ones. So I think that's also another piece that I would like to include with the community partnerships is empowering staff to be able to write those grants or to help them to do it so that we can get extra resources for the students. I've also been involved with the Young Entrepreneur Institute at US School, taking kids to a market. I've had them create products. So I think bringing some entrepreneurial learning and goes along with the graduate profile, and I have a lot of experience doing that.
I'm currently a member of the Educational Service Center of the Western Reserve, so I have experience on that board. I've also attended the Ohio State School Board Association convention, and I have had technical training on how to be a board member. In addition to that, I've also taught college classes at Kent State, as well as at Lakeland Community College. I teach at a police academy at Lakeland, so I also have the perspective of being a teacher as well as a consumer. That, along with my dedication to doing what's best for the community, is what qualifies me to be a school board member for Berkshire.
Yes, as a new member of the board, you do get training, and you go over policies and all those kind of things too, but everybody's using this as a campaign support, so I'm gonna use that too. I have been a teacher in this school district since I was 5. I've been a parent, a student, a grandparent, a teacher, a board member, a volunteer. My heart is with this community, and I feel like, for the most part, I am the heartbeat of this community because there's so many positive people who love what we're doing here. We need to make some changes because education is always changing, but the positive heartbeat that I feel from the staff and the community, I want to carry that on as a board member and do the best for our kids and do the best for our community.
I have not had any formal board training, but do understand that it is, I required, once elected. What would qualify me to serve on the board? I've served in several different leadership positions in several different places. Currently, I am serving as our church's congregation treasurer, and I also sit on a preschool school board, which I've been a member of for 10 years. So although it's not Ohio State school board experience, it's still experience in how a board needs to function and the reliance on an administrator to know what your rules are and what you're supposed to follow and how that administrator-board relationship works.
Thank you. You've been a great group, and on behalf of the League of Women Voters, I want to thank you, and want to say thank you to all the candidates who are running. When you talk about military, thank you for the service. I think that the COVID years and people experience that being practically a volunteer, said somebody about the hourly wage that you make with us isn't very much. I mean, it's you're there for the kids or whatever organization you represent. And I want to thank you for your service and thank you for wanting to be part of that. So thanks again. I do have a couple last minute things to remind you. To learn more about the candidates, you know about our paper voter guide, but take a look at the 411 because it does drill down to your local community and all the issues that are going to be facing on the ballot. So it is a great source of information, and take a look at it. And also the League of Women Voters Geauga. You can also get more information on what's happening. and even observe for what's happening at board meetings. Important dates coming up, October 10th. That's how far away is the deadline for voter registration. The 11th is where we can begin early in-person voting, and November 7th is election day. So with that, thank you all for coming. You've been a great audience. We've had some great questions. Thanks again. Thanks, Berkshire.